Now this is very funny. I wanted to do some work on the BIMOTA here. And I have this is really funny. I have two sets of decals here. And this is going to be similar, I know it, to the issue that we had with the Suzuki, that when we sand into the decals, it's going to be difficult to paint over them. Boy, am I ever right. I know I'm right. Let's see if it's my lucky day here. I don't think so. Now, Vlad had several sets of decals made for this project. And actually, he had 3 or 4 that didn't work out. I don't remember how many, but... And, well, let's hope it's our lucky day. We got that off. That was the extra set. Now, but there were extra... Actually, with 2 sets on there. So what I'm going to try to do, and see, again, I don't know if it's going to be... It's never my lucky day. Let me see if I can just... Boy, it would be nice if this would work out. I want to see... This is always the test of tests. If I could sand this right off. Since they are on top of the paint, but under the clear, I've got to sand through all the clear before I can get these off. Oh boy, I knew this was going to be a pain in the ass. And we know if you put the decals on top of that and they don't line up exactly perfect, which is almost impossible to do, you think it's easy until you go to do it, and then when you do it, you get a very deep sense of what the hell was I thinking? Because they don't want to lay one on top of the other. Let's just see. Now, Turbo Steve was going to bring by some decals. Oh, that's not going to work. See what's happened? They buried that under so much clear. I'm going to have to just sand that, basically sand them right off. See, when the decals are buried under the clear, you think you're going to heat, you can't heat gun them off, of course. If they're on top of the clear, so what I'm really going to have to do is take some relatively rough sandpaper here and just grind them off. Not my first choice, but yeah, they're coming off. Ay, Vlad, this job is making me crazy. Anyway, we do have what we hope is the matching red. We have the matching white already. Possibly, if Turbo Steve brings those decals over, we can get clear on them. Whatever ones he's made up for Mark, I don't know what they are. Mark seems to have an endless supply of decal things that he's working on. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. But that's, when you're doing a unique restoration, that's part of it. Okay, now see, they're finally coming off. But now we've gone down into some of the spots on this where it's plastic. And where there's the glue from that's on there. Oh, that's not going to be, not good, Grandpa Wendy. Let's see if we can get some, 1 second. It just couldn't be this easy. And since the new decals are going to go over here, I want to make sure that this is perfectly smooth. All right. They're a little rough there. And it'll be color sanded a few times anyway, so it won't really, not real critical right now. So now the hard part begins. This is the beginning of any prepping a part that we're going to repaint. Nasty. What? You ever get Simple Green in your coffee? It tastes like Simple Green. Anyway, a good way I found to get, I've already degreased the parts, but this is to get all the wax off. Good old-fashioned SOS pads. Since we want to go right back down here, don't want to fool around. Oh, there is no substitute for just good old-fashioned elbow grease. And the idea, of course, is before I actually sand the part, I wanted to get all the grease off with the grease remover and all the wax with the simple green. This is going to be a tough part to paint because it's got a lot of little corners and edges and angles and whatever. But we'll step up, I'm sure. And there's no way to avoid some of these steps that I know of. And every time you do, and this is a part that's small enough, I can take it over to the sink and prep it up by the sink. Rinse it off good. I'm going to show another couple things I'm going to be doing here where these spider cracks are. I'm going to fix these all with thin CA. This is a really worthwhile tip if you're going to do a repaint. Let me just dry this up. Spider cracking is when this bolt's obviously been over tightened at some point in time. The best way I know to ensure that this won't crack again, or at least stack the deck in your favor, heat it with a hairdryer. That tends to open up the crack just a little bit. You don't have to burn the paint off, just warm it up. Once it's warm, thin CA, thin Brodax CA. Get a clean paper towel. You leave a big glob of it on there for a split second. It's capillary, so it sinks in. You can see it. And you just keep the paper towel moving. Don't stop. The dust from the paper towel kicks off the cyanoacrylate. Now when that's sanded, and again let's just to demonstrate, this would not be the first choice of doing it. Now, because all these parts have been fixed on the inside with carbon fiber, I'm not concerned with that at all, that it's going to re-crack. These parts were very thin from the BIMOTA factory or from Luigi's Pizza, wherever they made these things. I'm not sure. So, somehow you never really know about Italian craftsmanship. I don't know. Anyway, all right, so I'm going to finish sanding this down, get it back masked, and try to get some of this painted today. So Turbo Steve just showed up here with his, I wanted to show this to Mark because he's not going to see it in real life. This is the color of the, I don't know if you can see that. Does that look close, Steve? The color of...
It's close.
To me, it's too light.
As I go up and down, my head changes.
Yeah. Now what?
But nobody will know.
Steve wants to measure for this, is it Bridgestone?
Bridgestone, yeah.
Okay, so he wants that decal. Now the problem with that's not going to fit on one sheet of paper. You're going to have to do it in two pieces.
Yeah,
and we're very critical about this because if not, Mark, you're going to have to buy some other paint before I put... So I won't do anything on these side fairings till he decides. Otherwise, I got to remask the whole thing. Now we're basically ready here after another thorough degreasing. Back mask the white. And I'm going to try to spray the red. Because that's going to be the part that's going to be the most... Well, we want to get that red to match on. That's always the issue. I want to paint inside here, inside where all the carbon fiber reinforcements are, so this will be a little tricky. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it yet. But get these back masked. And it's always good to see Turbo Steve. Whenever he stops by, we always have some good conversation about how great motorcycle riders we are. In days gone by. And that's, with prep soil, that's ready to go. Now, the first of 3 coats of red on there. And I'm sure that where the decals were, we're going to have to address that and get some of the little defects out. I did a lot around the bolt holes to try to fill that in, but I see it still needs some more. But again, we'll do it one step at a time. That was a big thing to get done today. Now at the end of every day, I usually look around at my pond, check out my fish, make sure they're growing. Some people don't know that koi grow even when you don't feed them. They're not ready to be fed yet. Any day now. Water temperature's coming up a little bit every day. They grow even though you don't feed them. I've raised koi for a lot of years, and that's the truth. Now, look what happened to my beautiful garage. I used to have a garage to store motorcycles. Now I've got, let's see, I think 5 different bikes here. Anyway, this stuff came out gorgeous. This is just to die for. This stuff, the finish on that is to die for. Luciano stuff, I'm not sure, it doesn't need one more coat of yellow. But Glenn's coming tomorrow, we'll make a decision. I don't know if Mark's going to want his color different. This still has some flaws we have to work on. Some of the edges are not just right. Oh, but again, the BIMOTA stuff, wow. I painted inside this. Vlad wanted everything painted inside. And maybe tomorrow we'll get to work on the track bike, get some green paint on these fiberglass parts. Oh, yeah. Sometime at the end of the day, I walk out here, and even if I could ride today, I'm just too tired. See, that's the problem with being old. In your mind, you're ready to go, but the Ferrari's not ready. Anyway, it was a really productive day. I hope you enjoyed sharing it with us. Now, the first of 3 coats of red on there, and I'm sure that where the decals were, we're going to have to address that and get some of the little defects out. I did a lot around the bolt holes to try to fill that in, but I see it still needs some more. But again, we'll do it one step at a time. That was a big thing to get done today. Now at the end of every day, I usually look around at my pond, check out my fish, make sure they're growing. Some people don't know that koi grow even when you don't feed them. They're not ready to be fed yet. Any day now. Water temperature's coming up a little bit every day. They grow even though you don't feed them. I've raised koi for a lot of years, and that's the truth. Now, look what happened to my beautiful garage. I used to have a garage to store motorcycles. Now I've got, let's see, I think 5 different bikes here. Anyway, this stuff came out gorgeous. This is just to die for. This stuff, the finish on that is to die for. Luciano stuff, I'm not sure, it doesn't need one more coat of yellow. But Glenn's coming tomorrow, we'll make a decision. I don't know if Mark's going to want his color different. This still has some flaws we have to work on. Some of the edges are not just right. Oh, but again, the BIMOTA stuff, wow. I painted inside this. Vlad wanted everything painted inside. And maybe tomorrow we'll get to work on the track bike, get some green paint on these fiberglass parts. Oh, yeah. Sometime at the end of the day, I walk out here, and even if I could ride today, I'm just too tired. See, that's the problem with being old. In your mind, you're ready to go, but the Ferrari's not ready. Anyway, it was a really productive day. I hope you enjoyed sharing it with us. So this morning, Mark stopped by on his way to work and brought some more stuff for the project. And I think he's still going to have a few more decals, so I've got to kind of reorient how I want to do these decals. I'm hoping that Glenn's going to stop here and we could do some work on his track bike. So trying to plan out a day here. Looks like it's going to be another great day for painting. And what the deal was, he wanted to have Turbo Steve come up with something like this. But and we have these decals already. We already have them here. I got to get the clear on them today. So this is the next step, the next set of decals. I got to get clear on this. So what I'm going to try to do is line up some other little parts that I can get the clear on, so I can mix one batch of clear and get that all on in one shot. Now looking at the fairing, there's a lot of little touch-up spots I want to do on the fairing, and then I can actually, if Glenn is here, it'd be easy to recoat it while I have him to babysit it. These parts are just about ready for Mark to pick up. He picked up some of the parts this morning, and he can pick some more of these up by the weekend. These dried up perfectly. These are ready for pickup. The reason I want Mark to pick some of this stuff up, just so we have more room, because you can see what's actually happening. What we have here, and Vlad's stuff looks beautiful. Vlad, you're going to love that. I'm going to work on his other two parts today. We have more decals coming for this, so I'm going to put that on the back burner. Try to get these cooking along. Tank came out great. But this is the problem. You just run out of room here at some point in time. Now these parts, they'll be ready for the white, and it's not really white, it's like an ivory white, so we're going to have to be real careful. We get this the same shade, because I fixed what I did here. I fixed all the spider cracking around the bolts, but it is definitely not, it's not the same color white that we've used on all these other projects. It's like an ivory white. You would just think, with the weather getting better and better, the paint's going to just, it's going to be a lot more fun painting when the weather's nice. That came out real nice. And I got the spider webs all fixed here. These were all the, again, I think somebody just over tightened the bolt. So what I have to do is reverse backmask this now. I backmask off all the red and paint the white. Boy, you listen to these birds here. Wow, they're having a food festival or something. Now I can see already, this is a perfect match. And it's not really, it's not the same white that's on Mark's bike either. Oh, Glenn's white is another color. As if we didn't have enough things that didn't match already. Annoying enough. But just to be sure, I'm going to make sure this gets at least 3 coats about 20 minutes apart. Alright, so as Vlad's parts are drying, they got to dry 20 minutes or so. I'm going to lay out what Glenn is doing. This is his track bike. We're going to try to lay out what he thinks this should really look like. He's got his numbers. These are going to be number plates. And to keep in keeping with Kawasaki's of this era, you couldn't be any closer than this. And we got the front fairing there. We're going to try to lay this out. The idea of laying it out, it looks like it may rain today, or it's cloudy anyway. They try to get some of this paint drying. All you really have to know right now is where is it going to be white.
Right. Well, that's about it. I'm just laying out the numbers.
Yeah, this is just like a prototype. And then we'll get Chip Foose in here to lay that tape. I know you'll be all impressed.
I'm already impressed.
See how smart you're getting, laying all these lines in tape? Boy, I'm telling you.
I'm learning.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I'm learning. Yeah.
When you come to Passover, you're gonna learn how to lay those lines straight. Believe me. Karen, I'll set you straight. Yeah. Now don't forget, this is going to be up in the air like this. So
yeah,
you hold that there. I want to see what this is going to look. Yeah, that's because that thing kind of cants up in the back.
Yep. Kind of flows with the tail section itself on that angle. So I'm kind of hoping some
fabuloso.
Kind of cool, right? Yeah.
Yeah, kind of cool. It's really cool.
Yeah. So we'll get the stripes. So this middle stripe actually.
Yeah, you can take that tape off right now. We don't really need that. Yep. And this is not going to be. This is not a, you know, the lucky thing is when you don't have to do like Mark, where everything has to be just like somebody did it 50 years ago. Right. No, we're setting a trend, not following. Gary Nixon is gonna want to have this bike.
No template.
No template.
That's tape.
So what we're doing, we're both wet sanding these parts down. That they have a couple of coats of. We just used this white. Glenn was playing around with the spray gun when we did this. Use your feel. You feel it. You don't look for anything. See, like, you won't see this. You wouldn't see this, right? All of a sudden you sanded it, popped through. You know it's a high spot.
Yep.
You know this corner and this edge. This is a high spot. If you don't do this step, this has now got clear on it, and that thing jumps up at you. It's kind of like pay me now, pay me later. And boy, is it disappointing at the end when you don't do this.
You can hear that, right?
Oh, absolutely. Now these parts are prepped and I'm ready to at least get some paint on all the high spots. And then once I get the high spots covered, I'll put a real coat of white on everything. As the wind starts to blow. Gone with the wind. Now Luciano's on his way over here. I don't know what he wants to do. I think he wants to repaint the tank a different color now, not yellow. But we'll find out when he gets here. The coffee's already brewing. You have to make these big corporate decisions. Well, let's try and let's see how Glenn's making out with the fairing. How's that fairing looking, King?
It's okay.
All right. Sand away. Perfect.
Side.
Perfect. Couldn't be better. I'm going to mix up some more white paint. There's two little spots out there that look like they're going to have to be addressed. We'll deal with it,
on
though.
The top?
No, they're on the bottom where you're not even going to see them, but I don't want to leave them there.
Gotcha.
It looks like there's something in the original finish that was on there.
Gotcha.
They either have a little the release agent or whatever. I mean, these parts are not made. They're not made for what we're doing. They're made for track days.
From being smooth to being rough.
Yeah. It doesn't take long, and you get good at this. Well, we got the second coat of white on here, and this is going to have to be color sanded, of course. But there's several little spots. I'm trying to see if we can get all of them before we paint the green. And we're going to back mask where the number plate will be. Glenn has the numbers. Parts like this, there's always some little thing you have to deal with. Get a bug flew into my paint. Another sanding mistake. Oh. Yeah, pretty soon we deal with another problem here, the bugs. If you try to do this late in the afternoon, you paint and all of a sudden, one flew in right there. Oh my God. But anyway, Luciano's here, Glenn's here, they're brewing some coffee up. So we're going to turn out to be a good day. I shouldn't complain. In fact, as we speak, look at this. Look at what's hanging in the garage. We got one part here, and it's time for some coffee. Are you guys ready for coffee?
Of course.
Look at the mess. Look at what they did on my table. This was a brand new towel when I put it down at the...
I did my study for now 2002 was a few injection. I went to pick up it back.
Anyway.
What are you going to do? You're bringing that back to Gavin's, that paint?
We're trying to get some work done on the track bike here.
Don't bring it back then.
But boy, oh boy. We need a coffee break. It's been an exhausting morning. Let's see, what does the West Cooley clock say? The West Cooley clock says it's time for a coffee break.
Okay. It's ready.
Coming right off, huh? right. So we got really the first coat of green. That's going to take 3 coats. You got, oh, look at the wind's blowing it like a weather vane.
Yeah.
Now babysit this while I go mix more paint. Yeah, that's going to look, oh man, that's going to look nice.
Electric green. This is a nice Kawasaki green.
We should name that Luciano Green. The Italian flag green.
Wow.
That is gonna, that sucker when it's coming down the track, you won't have to worry about them knowing who you are.
No,
that looks good. And you got the stripe going right down underneath the back.
Fantastic. Really looks good.
And you got that little gold outline on the black numbers.
It's gonna be nice.
Yeah, and we'll airbrush in a black stripe around there. Like I said, I think that'll just, that'll add the final touch.
Black stripe around the white.
Yep.
We'll do a white and green tank with a black line separating it.
Yeah.
It'll look good.
All right, Turbo Steve is here. He brought some jars to donate. This is how the fairing came out.
Okay.
Number plates are already in. We checked that the numbers fit nice. What do you think, Steve?
I think that is beautiful.
I think
it's that nice. Kawasaki line.
Because we're going to put a black,
Okay.
black stripe around the number plates when it's done. I think it's going to be real nice.
Instead of black, use dark blue like Kawasaki used to use.
I got dark blue.
Yeah, dark blue with the green, yeah.
Sure.
And a little white somewhere.
Okay, great. She's going to do that? That's
Actually, what would be nice is that dark, like Yamaha blue, almost black.
Yeah.
Boy, that really looks nice. Wow. Next to his, this is his sibling down here. Whoa, that's going to look nice. Now, we still have the tank to do in because Turbo Steve's here, and, well, who knows who else is going to be here.
Yeah, it's a little fly.
What do you think, Steve? Flies?
I think it looks, that's not the same green as yours. This is light.
No, mine is Camaro green.
Camaro green.
That's from a Camaro, an ordinary GM color. Boy, that looks nice. Wow. I'm getting excited about working on this. Now, if we can get that tank sanded down and primed, I think that's all we're going to be able to get done today. Let me get out there and get started.
The weather's getting iffy.
Yeah, it's getting very iffy. So now the real work begins on Glenn's tank. And guess who didn't show up? He had to go. You ever notice he always has to go when there's a lot of work to do? Anyway, we're just going to get this stuff, hopefully get it in primer. That was our goal in the beginning of the day. It looks like we're going to have it here. Luciano decided not to deal with that yellow paint. He's going to come up with some. He took his tank, so we got a real gap here. We might be able to get some of these projects moving along. All right, let's dry it up, baby. 2 hours of wet sanding. Ay, ay, ay. And you know what I got out of this deal? I got look at this, a Kawasaki green tripod. All right, Glenn, I know you appreciate this, baby. See all that sandpaper there? Oh, look, the only guy that stayed with me through thick and thin. Oh, man. Glenn, I'm bailing out on you, Hanson. I think that tank came out great. But boy, look at the garage. Look how out in the garage. You can see that tank from a mile away. Hanson, you've been overhauled.